I never expected betrayal to come with flowers. It was a Thursday afternoon when everything changed. I was supposed to meet a client at a restaurant downtown, some trendy fusion place that always smelled like basil and hardwood. I showed up early, like I always do, and as I waited by the hostess stand, I scanned the tables out of habit. That's when I saw her. Rachel. Hair curled just right, wearing a white dress I hadn't seen in months, the one that hugged her hips too perfectly to wear to a business meeting. She was sitting at a small corner table, laughing. Across from her was a man, tall, tan, some Wall Street haircut, and in the center of the table, a fresh bouquet of red tulips. Tulips. Her favorite. Not mine. Not for me. Something in me snapped. I didn't think. I didn't blink. I just walked straight toward the table like I was possessed. She didn't see me at first, not until I was standing at the edge of their intimate little moment. Her eyes widened, and her smile froze halfway through a laugh. The guy looked up, confused. "David?" She stammered, already pale. I didn't shout. I didn't need to. I looked at her, then at the flowers, then back at her, and said, "It's over." Just that. 3 words, cold and surgical. I turned and walked out, leaving her and that stranger with their mouths open and a candle flickering between them like it still believed in love. I got in my car, slammed the door, and sat there, shaking. My heart was racing so fast I thought I'd pass out. I stared at the restaurant's glass facade, wondering if she'd come running after me. She didn't. She stayed inside, probably explaining to him how I was just overreacting or how things had been complicated for a while. I drove home in a haze, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just kept seeing her face, how quickly her expression had shifted from surprise to calculation. That was what stayed with me. Not guilt. Not sorrow. Strategy. She wasn't sorry I caught her. She was just trying to figure out how much I knew. The house was dark when I got there. I didn't turn on the lights. I poured myself a drink, straight bourbon, no ice, and sat in the living room with nothing but the glow of the kitchen light behind me. My hands trembled as I clutched the glass. The silence was oppressive. This was supposed to be our home, a space filled with comfort, trust, history. Instead, it felt like a crime scene. Every photo on the wall was a lie. Every shared memory had a new crack running through it. I thought about how many nights she'd told me she was working late or meeting with a client. How many times had I sat on that couch waiting for her while she was in someone else's arms? She came home 3 hours later, quietly, keys jingling softly, like she didn't want to wake a sleeping husband. I heard her heels on the hardwood, the hesitation in her steps. When she turned the corner and saw me sitting there, she froze. "David." "I can explain," she started, her voice soft and cautious, like I was a bomb she needed to disarm. I didn't answer, just looked at her. That silence must have said more than anything I could have shouted. She came closer. "It's not what you think," she tried, and that's when I laughed. A hollow, bitter sound I didn't recognize as my own. "You met him with flowers, Rachel. You were white." "It's exactly what I think." The argument didn't last long. She cried. I didn't. She blamed stress, distance, her job, my job, the weather, anything but herself. I asked her how long it had been going on. She didn't answer. That told me everything. I told her to leave. She didn't. Not right away. She slept in the guest room. The next morning, she texted me from the hallway. "Can we talk?" I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop and began doing what she never thought I would. I started digging. Every app, every email, every backup cloud I could access. I didn't care if it was petty. I needed to know. And what I found. Photos. Messages. Hotel confirmations. Voice notes. Google Maps history. She hadn't just cheated. She had built an entirely separate relationship behind my back. Trips I thought were business were weekend getaways. Nights she was working late were reservations under fake names. I didn't confront Rachel again. Not yet. I let her think I was processing. Healing. I went to work. I ate dinner in silence. I even smiled once or twice. She started trying harder, cooking my favorite meals, offering to watch my shows, asking if I wanted to talk through things. I nodded, told her I needed space. She mistook my quiet for forgiveness. That was her mistake. I wasn't forgiving her. I was documenting her. I created folders, timelines, backed up every shred of evidence onto drives I kept locked in my car. Rachel thought she was winning again. That was the part that fascinated me, how quickly cheaters slip back into their rhythm, like consequences were just a brief interruption in the melody of their lies. She was lighter now, laughing more, touching me more. Her eyes had that shimmer of someone who thinks the storm passed. It hadn't. I was the storm. Quiet, patient, and closing in around her. Every time she sent Kyle a message, I saw it. I still had access to her cloud. She hadn't figured that out. Or maybe she had and just thought I was too broken to keep looking. That's the thing with people like her. They mistake silence for surrender. They confuse a still face for a numb heart. The moment came sooner than I expected. I got a tip, not from a friend, but from fate. One of Rachel's girlfriends, Lydia, messaged me out of nowhere. Said she wasn't comfortable anymore. Said she saw Rachel at a hotel bar last weekend, and it wasn't for business. I played dumb. Oh? You sure it was her? She sent me a photo. It was Rachel, hand on Kyle's knee, drink in the other hand, that same white dress she wore the night I found them the first time. I thanked Lydia, told her it was probably just a misunderstanding, and promised I wouldn't say anything. She believed me. I waited 3 days. Let the guilt simmer. Watched Rachel put on her best performance, asking me if I wanted to go away for the weekend, talking about how much she appreciated my patience. I smiled, nodded, told her it sounded nice. Then, that Friday, I told her I was going on a fishing trip with my brother. I packed a bag. Left at 7 a.m. She kissed me at the door. Be safe, she said. I drove around the block and parked 2 streets down. And I waited. She left the house at 9:40 a.m. Dressed to kill. She drove toward the beachside rental district. Kyle had booked an Airbnb, cute little bungalow with a swing out front and a wraparound porch. I followed at a distance, staying out of her mirrors. I parked where she couldn't see me and waited another 20 minutes before approaching. I didn't knock. I didn't call. I used the spare key I had stolen from her keychain months ago when I knew she had made without telling me. I opened the door silently and stepped inside. They were in the kitchen, drinking coffee, laughing. She was barefoot, leaning against the counter like she belonged there. He had one hand on her waist, the other holding a mug. She looked up and saw me first. The sound she made wasn't a scream, it was more like a gasp that didn't finish. He turned, confused, then panicked. I didn't speak. I took my phone out of my pocket and started playing a recording. It was her voice. You're the only man who really knows me, Kyle. Then another. David is dull. Safe. I need more. Then a picture, a still from the security camera. Her on top of him in our bed. She dropped the mug. It shattered. Kyle backed away, stammering something, hands raised. I turned to him and said one thing. Your wife already knows. His face dropped. He turned pale. What? He asked, but I was already walking out. I heard Rachel call my name, but I didn't stop. I got in my car and drove straight to my next destination. Home. By the time she got back that night, the house was empty. Her clothes in garbage bags on the porch. My wedding ring in a bowl by the door. A letter on the table with just 2 words. We're done. I didn't answer her calls. I didn't open her emails. I let the silence speak louder than any confrontation could. She moved in with a friend. Then a hotel. Kyle's wife filed for divorce. Took the kids. Rachel tried to see him again, but from what I heard, he shut her out. Ghosted her. She had bet everything on a man who was just using her to escape his own reality. Now she was alone. Floating. No one to run to. No one to lie to. It didn't end with a bang. It ended with a long, slow decay. Weeks passed. Then months. The divorce papers came through. No alimony. I kept the house. She moved back to her hometown in Arizona. Tried to rebuild, but her reputation followed her like smoke. Lydia told me Rachel's new job lasted 2 weeks before she got let go. No one trusted her. No one believed in second chances from a woman who shattered a marriage and torched her future for cheap thrills.